everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm home and I'm recapping my cruise that I just took on the Norwegian Epic from Barcelona round trip. So stay tuned and let's recap this trip. All right, first of all, before we start the recap, I just want to tell you what's coming up next on my adventures. You know I live in New Orleans, so between cruises I'll be doing some things around New Orleans, places to eat, places to go. But you know, October is fast around the corner, so stay tuned for my spooky October. I have some really fun things planned, and maybe walking among the dead, doing some maybe vampire or ghost tours. So the sky's the limit here in New Orleans for all sorts of adventures. My next cruise, although, is going to be on a 5-day Mexican Riviera, which I'm going on the Norwegian Bliss. It is 5 days, but I really wanted to get on the Bliss. I have not been on the one yet, and so I'm anxious to show that to you. That's in October 25th through October 30th, just in time to come home for Halloween. So then also that is just one cruise coming up, but oh gosh, you guys need to subscribe and give me some suggestions what you'd like to see on some of these ships that I'm going on. Norwegian Bliss is, like I said, in October. My birthday is in January, so I'm going on a cruise in January. I'm going on a cruise in March. I'm going on a cruise in June, going on a cruise in September. So I've got some cruises upcoming and lots of adventures. All right, so that being said, let's do this recap. First of all, I started out here in New Orleans and flew. I booked the flight through Norwegian. So there's been some horror stories with booking your flight, but I really didn't have any problems with Norwegian booking my flight. The times were perfect. I left New Orleans and got to Philadelphia, and I missed my flight there because the flight coming to New Orleans was late. So I missed that flight. But the American Airlines got me on to go to Lisbon, and Lisbon on to Barcelona. Always, always, always book 1 or 2 days before, especially if you're flying international. Fortunately, I did that and I got to Barcelona, but my luggage did not arrive. So American Airlines did it right for me that time. They tracked my luggage, and it came in Sunday, my embarkation day. I was able to go to the airport, get my luggage in time to get on the ship and start my cruise. So that was a little bit of the adventure of going, and coming back was perfect. Norwegian and Barcelona, they're getting off the ship was just so easy. My flight was first one out at 9:40, so I also was one of the first ones off the ship, and I had transportation provided by Norwegian. A little extra cost, but it was worth it to me. So got off the ship. They do luggage there like you know, you've always getting off the ship and your luggage is stacked in this big old, almost like a warehouse by color. And in Barcelona, it comes off on a conveyor belt. And since I was the first one off, they had it like almost like a separate area was with the number 1 on it. And then they had another one with number 2, 3, and 4. So in order of you getting off the ship is where your luggage would go. So it came off the conveyor belt, and I walked right to it and got my luggage. Got on the bus to the airport, and I was in the airport at a little after 7 in the morning. Plenty of time for my flight at 9:40 and embarkation. So no delays. Matter of fact, we got to Miami a little early, which was good because you have to go through all the getting into the United States process and that. So I got here to New Orleans at 5 o'clock, which was just on time, and I got home. So that was my travel to and from experience. Now let's go to the Norwegian Epic. Norwegian Epic is a little bit older ship. It's one of the first ships that provided with the studio cabins. I do travel solo. I do have an opportunity to bid on a upgrade, and they did take it. When I bid, honestly, I bid $100 on the upgrade, and from a studio cabin to a balcony. And because I'm solo, it was double that, so it was $200 to upgrade. So I got into the aft balcony, which I've never been on an aft balcony. I've been on either side, and of course inside cabins and studio. So this was a different perspective for going. You could see the trail, and it was just very nice. This cruise had no sea days, so kind of glad for that, because this particular cruise had the Spice H2O, which is the adult only during the day, and sports courts were all closed. So the Norwegian Epic Spice H2O has a it's not a long pool, but it's a deep pool, and has its own bar and stuff. So that kind of helps with the crowd. But with it being closed, the pool area, the slides, was just packed. And this is one of the first cruises that had been with the Epic that was full capacity. So it was very busy when you were back off the your port. If I had any complaint about the Epic, it was with that many people, the dining areas were just, I don't know what it is about the cafe, garden cafe in the morning. It either is not as big as the other ships or what, but in the morning, if you didn't get there early or whatever, it was like a feeding frenzy. So so to eat in a couple of the other places for breakfast, I didn't eat breakfast, because it was an excursion every day, so, and lunch was provided almost all of them, so I just kind of skipped breakfast. I think I had breakfast one day. I used the garden cafe the first day when I got on, and after that I just didn't go. But the food was good. It was nothing to do with the food, it was the crowds. So if you wanted to get something at 6 o'clock, you could get kind of in, but by 7, the overflow, you know, you got to go in. That wasn't a problem. It was just a wait. So a lot of people had to wait to get dinner, and you know, I don't like to eat 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. So it's kind of late for me. So our first stop was Corsica, which is the home island of Napoleon Bonaparte. So I had a great cruise tour there. I did off of Norwegian, but it was interesting, got some information. Beautiful, beautiful island port. So enjoyed that very much. I have a couple pictures I'm going to be putting in here for that. Next stop was Rome. Now this cruise had people getting on in Barcelona, people getting off in Barcelona, and people taking excursions in Barcelona. Then we got to Rome. People got off in Rome, people got on in Rome, and people took excursions in Rome. So I had been to Rome before. I wanted to do something a little different, so I did a Roman catacombs and castles. So that was really a nice little trip. Got to see where they buried people back in the day, and you don't see bodies or anything like that. It was just like underground caves pretty much with the history. And then got to go see where the Pope's residence is, and beautiful area overlooking a lake, and got to have beautiful lunch handmade demonstration of making pasta was included, and the lunch was great, bottle of wine. We just had a good day. So from Rome, we went to Naples. In Naples, the original excursion I had planned got canceled, so I went to Sorrento for the day. Beautiful, beautiful drive along the coast. The weather was perfect. Spent a day in Sorrento. Just got some wonderful pictures there, and had a little snack there, and a beverage. And the tour guide was funny and had some good stories, and I think I learned more history on that particular tour. A little bit of history of Naples, a little bit of history of the coast area, a little bit of history of Sorrento, and so very nice. Then from there we went on to Florence. Now Florence is a little bit of a trip into Florence itself, because the ship docks in Livorno. So I have never been to Florence, but I wanted to go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And so the shore excursions, I could have done Florence and Pisa, but I really wanted to go to a winery, and in Tuscany winery, and order some wine to ship home. So that excursion was Leaning Tower of Pisa, and also a wine tour with lunch. And oh, I think that was a beautiful, beautiful day. I had a wonderful time, learned some history of Pisa. Just the tour guide was wonderful. We went into the winery, learned about how they made wine, olive oil, met some wonderful people. So the wine is great. Yes, I did order 8 bottles of wine, and I'm expecting it now. This is a few weeks later. We're going into our 4th week since my cruise, so that was a good time. And they served like seven glasses of wine and some dessert wine. So yeah, we were all happy coming back to the ship. So all right, so after Florence, our next stop was Cannes. So in that one, I did a excursion, view from Ease and Monaco. So if you ever have a chance to see the hilltop village of Ease, it really is nice. The views from there is beautiful. I had to pay €6 to get up to the top. Not everybody did that, but there's a cactus garden up there, and even more views. And then we went into Monaco and got to see the Prince's Palace and had a nice lunch there as well. The only part about that whole thing was when we got back. All aboard time was 4 o'clock. Last shuttle was 4 o'clock. Or, it was not shuttle, it was a tender port. So last tender was 4 o'clock. So we got off the bus, and the line was horrendous. No shade, we were just packed in like sardines in this line, and it really did weave down. Then they check your bags and you go through another line. We were in line for over an hour, maybe hour and a half. People were fainting. It was just so hot. They had to drop a couple more tenders to help with the crowd and get us back on. So obviously the last tender was not 4 o'clock. People were still getting on. I got to the ship at 4:30. I did a little video. I was soaking wet. I mean, it really was, that was miserable, to be honest. It was just miserable, and they just weren't accommodating that many people at that time coming back to the ship. So that was a little bad. But I showered, went quickly and got something to eat, and then I called it quits for the rest of the night. I was wiped out. But next day I had to get up and for my last port was Palma Mallorca, and when we pulled into port, it was pouring rain, and a lot of people were canceling their little get off the ship. But as soon as they provided us ponchos before we got off the ship, got on our bus, and as soon as we got on the bus and we were driving out, the rain stopped and the sun came out. So it ended up being a perfect day. I chose to go to the Caves of Hams and a pearl factory. I was a little hesitant to go to this cruise excursion, the Cave of Hams, because the reviews were just kind of not good. But I decided to go ahead and go with it. Like I said, it was $50 off, and so I said, oh, I love caves, let's see what it is. Beautiful caves, outstanding, very clean, it was well lit. There was a little bit of a performance over what they call a underground Lake of Venice, and they did a little bit of like opera type of songs with some music. It was 4 minutes long. I recorded a little bit of it, but it was just and then going to the pearl factory was very interesting. I had no idea about manufactured pearls, and so bought a couple gifts there, but just all in all, it was a really, really nice day, and I really enjoyed Palma Mallorca. And then, of course, the next morning, I just told you about that, I got off in Barcelona. So that was all the excursions, wonderful excursions. I hope you go back and look at the cruise. I did film every day in port, and so that's on my, if you go to my YouTube site, at the top it has playlists, and you can click on that and it'll tell you everything. I have over 45 videos out there. So I videoed every day for this cruise. I videotaped every day for my Italy Greek Isle cruise, which was a 10-day out of Rome. And I did that June 30th through July 10th of 2022. So, and then I did another cruise out of New Orleans way back in December. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this little clip, and please subscribe, please like, give me some comments. I am going on the Norwegian Bliss. If you want to know something about that ship or any of the cruises that I've been on, leave a comment. I do answer and respond as quick as possible, and love to have you on board with me. I reached my goal of 200 subscribers on this cruise, so I'm all excited. My next goal is 250, so you guys will help me out by reaching that goal as well. All right, everybody, have a great day, and I'll see you on Spooky October. Bye-bye.